शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि अवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we are in the section, a very hair-splitting section. And what is that section? We are looking at the question of Anuprashnaha. It's all centered on one word. Anuprashnaha. Athato nuprashna. Like that. Athato, atha, ataha, anuprashnaha. Prashnaha is plural. This whole argument is centered on that. Plural in Sanskritam means more, three or more. You cannot have any other kind of plural. It has to be three because we already have dual. So that cannot be plural because Sanskritam dual is dual and plural is more than three or more than two. Okay. And so here, when we chant that portion, there is only two questions. So, Uta avidvan amum lokam pretya kaschana gacchati. One question. Aho vidvan amum lokam pretya kaschit samashnuta. Only two questions are there. But the Shruti says Anuprashnaha iti bahuvachanat. Because there is bahuvachanam, there is a plural said here. Adi Shankara, out of extreme intense shraddha towards the Shruti, does not gloss over this and say, oh, maybe some brahmachari copying it might have made a mistake. No, he respects the Shruti. And out of respect for the Shruti, this whole discussion is there. This long discussion. And then we saw, we haven't quite seen, but I gave away the class today a little bit. What did I say? He's going to start off by offering 4 questions. And then he's going to be honest and say, well, no, first he's going to start off with 2 questions and be honest and say there are only 2 questions. But the Shruti says questions, so plural. So there should be at least 3. So then he converts it into 4 questions. Then after that, he himself is uncomfortable with these 4 questions. So he then settles for 3 at the end. How? Let us see. So, where is the Bhashya? Dare I share it? The internet is very, very bad. So look at your own Bhashya, okay? Yeah, no, I'm telling all of them. Yeah, so internet is very, very bad. So this is BYOB. Bring your own Bhashya. Okay, yeah. So bring your own Bhashya because I dare not do anything to upset or disrupt this situation. All right. So, uh, यस्मादेवम् अतः तस्माद् अथ अनन्तरं श्रोतुः शिष्यस्य अनुप्रश्नाः. We saw that. So after this, now atha ana means after this, now therefore these the Shishya. We presume the Shishya's name and Gotra and all are not given. And then the questions are in keeping with Acharya Ukti. Acharya Uktim Anu Ete Prashnaha. Therefore, it is called Anuprashnaha. Simple Prashnaha means what? I can ask anything and that will become a question. But this is Anuprashnaha means in keeping with the Acharya Ukti. Then the questions are in keeping with what the Acharya has said, that has been closely listened to, and then the questions are revolving around that. And what is the question? Samanyam hi Brahma Akashadikaranatvat Vidushah Avidushascha. Brahman is common for both. Whether you know about Brahman or you do not know about Brahman makes no difference. Why? Because the one who knows I am Brahman is what? Brahman. The one who does not know I am Brahman is what? Brahman. This is what is called Samanyam hi Brahma. That is one argument. And then hidden in that is one more reason. Akashadi karanatvat. So it is the cause of every body. It is the cause of Akasha. It's the cause of the body of the Vidwan and the body of the Avidwan also. A Vidwan's body is not Abrahma. It is also Brahman. Avidwan means somebody who is not understanding the truth of oneself. Vidwan means Jnani Purusha, the one who knows. So the one who knows and the one who doesn't know, both of them, both of these bodies, these upadhis are caused by what? Brahman. Samanyam hi Brahma, because it is the cause of everything starting from the subtlest to the grossest. Akashadi karanatvat vidushascha karanah avidushascha karanah means it's not the cause of the vidusha and avidusha. Upadhi taha, from the standpoint of the upadhi, from the standpoint of this body mind sense complex called vidusha and avidusha, these two jivas, individuals. Of course, vidusha is no longer jiva. He has understood, she has understood that I am Brahman. But avidusha, the avidwan, the one who does not know, still thinks I am what? I am I am an idiot, I am samsari, very, very sorry, etc., etc. And so, but both are Brahman, regardless of what they know, what they think, regardless of the mistake is made. Still, the both are Brahman. So then, tasmad ashankyate. Kim ashankyate. Therefore, the doubt is, it is doubted. What is doubted? Avidushaha api brahma praptihi ashankyate. The student of Vedanta is getting nervous. Why? All these days I have put up with a lot of issues. Why? Just for the sake of self growth. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam, Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantihi, Arjavam, Acharya, Upasana. All these things, 20 qualities come in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. All those 20 qualities, and then which are an expansion of these four four sadhana chatushtaya: viveka, vairagya, six pack, and mumukshutvam. And the six pack is again six things: shama, dama, uparati, all these things. So I have cultivated it painstakingly. Finally, I got the knowledge after being vegetarian, dropping garlic, etc., dropping, eating all kinds of non eatables, things that have flown, things that have swum, all the things that have walked, all these things I have stopped eating. All for what? If the avidwan who is still fighting in the streets, who is still scrambling, who is still being mean to others, who has not grown, if that one is also going to get Brahman, what is the use of this lifestyle? And then, in fact, what is the use of Brahma Vidya? Why Brahma Vidya? So, and then let's look at the Upodghata sentence. Upodghata means the introductory mm, sentence of this Upanishad. How does this Upanishad start? Hmm? Ah, Brahmavit apnoti param. So if Brahmavit apnoti param and avidwan api apnoti brahma, then if the Vidwan is also going to get Brahman after death, Vidwan is also getting Brahman, then what is the use of all this? This Upanishad is nirarthaka, useless, purposeless, meaningless. And it is also, there is also another dangerous dosha, anirmoksha prasanga dosha. It is as terrible as it sounds. Anirmoksha means in this situation, moksha has no meaning, moksha has no possibility. Because we have been saying that the bondage is a notion, and that notion is because of the influence of atma, avidya, and avidya causes me to have a distorted view of the world. And if the view of the world is distorted, then what happens? I'm just I just take everything personally, internalize everything. I think the whole world is against me, right? And then what? And then I'm sitting there in samsara of my own making. Then, even if such a person gets Brahman, and then the other person also studying the Taittiriya Upanishad becomes a Brahmavit and gets Brahman. Brahmavit means Brahmaveti. Abrahmavit na Brahmaveti. Brahma na veti. And so, if Abrahmavit and Brahmavit, both of them get Brahman, then what is the use? And how is moksha even possible? Moksha is not possible. If moksha is possible, it should have the sadhana sadhya sambandha between the text and the output. Correct? So the text is the sadhana. What is the sadhana? Shravanam is the sadhana. And at the end of the Shravanam, what I should get? I should get moksha. I should understand I am the thing. But here, even the fellow who's not using this sadhana is getting getting Brahman for free. Okay? That does not make sense. Then, okay, we take, there is pakshadvayam, there are two possibilities. Then we say, okay, no partiality. Let us say that neither the Vidwan gets Brahman after dying, okay, after dropping the body. And the Avidwan also doesn't get Brahman. Is that good? No, there is a lot of aruchi there also. Both of them are not getting Brahman. It is even more anxiety producing. It is even more anxiety producing. You say, oh, what's the point then? Then again, anirmoksha prasanga, and again there is no sambandha. Pratipadaka pratipadya sambandha is not there. Sadhana sadhya sambandha is not there. Means, so the Vedanta is loses its status of being a means, and the end is moksha. When the end itself is in question, then what is the use? Correct? Yeah, so therefore this creates a anxiety, a small panic attack for the people that have studied the Kathopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Kenopanishad, and then come to number 4, Taittiriya Upanishad. So, Kramena, they have gone through an order, and then they have studied many Prakarana Granthas, like Advaita Makaranda and Drik Drishya Viveka, Parokshanubhuti, Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, this Bodha, that Bodha, everything they are studying, or they have studied. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Gopalam, all these things. And then what? And then only to find out that this idiot who has not done anything also gains Brahman. Or, to be fair, even I don't gain Brahman, and even that fellow also doesn't gain Brahman. And so now the first question Adi Shankara proposes. Uta means api. Uta avidvan amum lokam paramatmanam. So amum lokam pret itaf pretya. So itaf pretya means going from here. E gatau, in gatau, second conjugation, in gatau. So that na goes away, e gatau. So itaha, past passive participle. Itaha. Itaha means where is this person? Itaha means gone away, gone for a walk by the river, or gone to eat something, meaning will come back. Then you add pra. upasarga, you add the prefix pra. What does pra mean? Fully, totally. Huh? Totally gone means not coming back. Pra plus ita, what does it? You don't answer. Huh? Pra plus preta. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm giving Arpan a Sandhi lesson here. So, yeah. So, pra plus ita, preta. Preta means doesn't come back, cannot come back. That is what preta means. And you sometimes in Sanskritam and other vernacular languages, preta also means a disembodied being. The body has been disposed of, cannot come back, is hanging around. Like Brahma Rakshasa and others. Brahma Rakshasa is a disembodied, a kind of a preta, preta sharira. It's a kind of a disembodied being that who in the life, while alive, knew, let's say, music, had the knowledge of music, but then did not give it to the students, did not teach, had the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, did not teach. No, it doesn't apply to Brahma Vidya. It applies only to this, what is that? Had the knowledge of this music, cooking, things like that, fine arts, Veena, and all this, but always kept something because of jealousy, jealous of their own student. Yeah, this person, this fellow will surpass me. Iti jealousy. So kept some and then taught them sometimes only little bit, or purposely taught them wrong things so that they would go and hang themselves. When they gave a performance, they would be booed, and then so they would they would have to maintain a dependency on them. That was the idea. So then, after death, they become Brahma Rakshasa, and they can only be liberated when they teach whatever they know in full. So the story is that in South India, these tales are very prevalent. They sit on a tree at night. And let's say there are some people who want to sit down under the tree, and travelers, and they want to, they are just poor, innocent travelers. They want to sit down and break their rotis and eat their rotis and then sleep there and move on in the morning. The Brahma Rakshasa does not let them sleep. Brahma Rakshasa has a pressure to teach, so makes them all into students in the Preta state. So the word Preta also means disembodied being. Here, Preta means dead. Okay, that's all it means. Dead. So don't think bhuta and ghosts and all, dead. So itaf pretya amum lokam. Amum means that loka. And Adi Shankara clarifies there is no other loka. There is only Ishvara. To think like that, to think that there is another loka that I go to after death is loko. Okay, not loka. And so therefore there is no other loka. Amum lokam means Paramatma. Itaf pretya, going from, from here. Itah, from going from here, pretya, kaschana. Chana means api. Apyarthe. Avidwan api gacchati kim? Will the, so the first question is, will the person who does not know A for Atma or B for Brahman, will such a person gain Brahman after pushing off forever from this loka and going to Ishvara? Because everything goes to Brahman. So will they gain Brahman in the sense of, because that's what we have heard, everything comes from Brahman, everything goes back to Brahman. So will they gain Brahma Prapti? Means just like Brahmavid apnoti param. So that param prapti, will it take place or not? So first is Brahma Prapti, simple Brahma Prapti. Do they go to Brahman or not? And then, since, Adi Shankara stretches the question. Will they go means what? It's already a two-part question. Will they go means the answer could be yes, they will go, or answer could be no, they will not go. So, but here he makes that into another question. Kim va nagachati, he makes it into another question, totally unnecessary, but he is trying to respect the Shruti, which says what? Anuprashnaha. So therefore he says, Kimva nagachati. Will he not go? Will she not go? Iti dvitiyah api prashnah drashtavyah. He says, we must see this as a second question. Why? Anuprashnaha iti bahuvachanat, because there is a plural. So it should be more than two, minimum three. And so let's make the first question. Let's split this hair of the first question and make it into two, bahuvachanam being there. Then, so the first two questions are what? Concerning Vidwan or Avidwan? Avidwan. Avidwan, not Vidwan. Now he proposes the next two questions will concern who? Vidwan. So then he says, so first question is what? Gachati. And then second question is Nagachati kim? Does he go? And then the second one, does he not go? That's the makes no sense, but that's how it is. Does he go? Does he not go? Then he says, anuprashnaha iti bahuna vachanat. Then vidvamsam prati anyau dvau prashnau. The next two questions are directed towards the knower of Brahman, Vidvansam. You know, Vidvat, that is the Shabda, I think, Vidvamsam, Prati, Anyau, Prashnav. Two. It's Anyau, dual, Prashnav also dual. Okay. So, यदि अविद्वान् सामान्यं कारणमपि ब्रह्म न गच्छति ततः विदुषः अपि ब्रह्मगमनम् आशंक्यते. So if the avidwan doesn't go, then the vidwan also should not go. Not fair, says the vidwan. But this is the logic of the questioning that is being followed. Because Brahman is common for both. And if we maintain that Brahma Prapti is not taking place for Avidwan, then it should not take place for Vidwan also. Iti ashankyate. So therefore, there is another couple of questions about Brahma Gamanam on part of Vidwan. Does Vidwan reach, go, get, all these in inverted commas, Brahman? So then, what is question? Atah tam prati. Tam prati means what? Vidvamsam prati. Directed towards the Vidwan. Prashnaha aho Vidwan iti. So, question number 3 is what? Vidwan Brahmavidapi kaschit itah pretyah amum lokam samashnute prapnoti. So, will the Vidwan gain? Samashnute is just borrowed from the beginning. Sarvan Kaman, what? Samashnute. That Samashnute is taken here because we are talking of Vidwan. So simple prapti in the first question, first two questions. Here, just for the sake of not repeating oneself, it is converted into samashnute. Samyak ashnute, eats the fruit of knowing Brahman, gains all the desires in one fell swoop. Ityarthaha. So Vidwan. So the being Brahmavit, this Vidwan, this person of self-knowledge, being the knower of Brahman, kaschit itah pretya amum lokam samashnute prapnoti. Will the person get that? Huh? Get that? Will the person enjoy everything as Brahman? Then Bhashyakara breaks into a grammar lesson. Okay. समश्नुते उ इति एवं स्थिते अयादेशे यलोपे च कृते अकारस्य प्लुतिः समश्नुता आ उ इति. So actually it is samashnute and u is followed. U is the prashna. Okay. U is the question mark here when you articulate it, not a written question mark. You don't write U for question mark, but articulated U pulled 3 times. U samashnuta. U. The ta is dragged and then it ends in U. Okay. And then so he says that this, how is it formed? He says samashnute, A. And then when A contacts U, something interesting happens grammatically, and that's what he points out. He says that samashnute u iti evam sthite, when these two are looking at each other. Which two are looking at each other? A and U are looking at each other. When they are looking at each other, then what happens? There is a sutra, Paninian sutra, that kicks into effect. Echaha ayavah, echo yavayavah, echo yavayavah, echaha I, av, I, av, aha, I have a ha, because that's plural. He's pluralized all that. And then the replacements are given when this kind of a situation happens. So then when A is followed by what? Achi parataha. When it's followed by any vowel, then this is the outcome. So what is the outcome? So the A, the replace, it is all krama. It is all A, I, O, Au. Replacements are given for the diphthongs. And so the A turns into Aya. Correct? Aya. So then Samashnutaya. Samashnutaya. Samashnutai. It should be. But then the yalopa, the ear drops. Shakalyasya lopa. There was a grammarian even before Pranini called Shakalya. Great grammarian. And so, according to his rule, the ear drops. So then the ear drops and the is dragged into three because prashnarthe, in the sense of the question. So therefore, you are looking at samashnuta u. If you didn't understand, just check out, don't worry. Okay, now is the time to check back in. All right, yeah. So I'm not going to say anything more about it. That's all. Check out, have some pleasant thoughts, come back. That's all to say. Okay, so he just rarely he does this, Adi Shankara, but then suddenly he wants here to give us a little mini Paninian instruction. And then he wants to say that, look, this is how we arrive at Samashnuta U. First, it should just be Samashnuta U, because it should be first Samashnutai U, and the ya is dropped, and then Samashnuta U, but then that is elongated. Why? Because to show that it's a question, and so therefore it is what? Samashnuta U. Okay, that's all. So now you can check back in wherever you are. Come back, and then so so then enough of grammar. And so then he says, oh, not enough of grammar. उकारं च वक्ष्यमाण वक्ष्यमाण मध्यस्थात् अपकृष्य तकारं च पूर्वस्माद् उत शब्दात् व्यासज्य आहो इति एतस्मात् पूर्वम् उत शब्दं संयोज्य पृच्छ्यते उत आहो विद्वान् इति. No, that's not a grammar lesson. Thank God. Okay, yeah. He's just changing the, he's changing the order of the sentence to make it more clear. The Upanishad has its own order. And what does the Upanishad say? Uta vidvanamul lokam pretya kaschana gacchati. Aho vidvanamul lokam pretya kaschit samashnuta. That's what it says. Now he's saying that the what we need to do is that we have to bring the uta and the aho together, because having them separate does not make any sense. That's all he's saying. So he says the uta samashnuta u, that u is actually connecting to the uta. The u is the short form of uta. So Vakshamana Madhyastat. What is there in the Madhya? Samashruta U iti. Then Apakrishya means bringing that takaram cha purvasmat uta shabdat vyasajya. So you remove the takara from one U and then you bring the takara back to the other U and you still have one uta without one U hanging around without any relatives, and feeling very lonely. That's all he's saying. Okay. Yeah. So he's trying to combine this uta, the takara from the previous uta vidwan, that one. That uta, that takara is brought here, and then there are two ukaras, and one of them is, ignored. And then so aho iti etasmat purvam uta shabdam samyojya, bringing it together, prichyate. What prichyate? Uta aho vidwan iti. That makes more sense. Vidwan, and what does that mean? Vidwan samashnute amum lokam. Will the person gain the Brahmaloka as oneself? Will they gain all their desires? Kimva, that is question number 3. Let's not forget, in all this grammar analysis and then rearranging Uta and Aho, and then the moving around the Takara, and then losing the Ukara, all these things. Let us not forget what was question number 3. Vidwan amum lokam samashnute is the samashnute question mark. Will the vidwan get the get Brahman? Question number 3. Question number 4. What is that? Vidwan samashnute amum lokam. Question number 3. Question number 4. Kim va yatha avidwan evam vidwan api न समश्नुते इति अपरः प्रश्नः. The last question. The other question is what? Oh, so will the vidwan, first question number 3. There are two dyads. Okay, so question number 2 and 3 and 4 have to do with vidwan. Okay. So question number 3 is, will the Vidwan get all the desires met upon dropping the body? Will they gain Brahman? Question number 3. And then question number 4 is what? Kimva, or like the Avidwan, even the Vidwan will not get Brahman. Why? Samanyat, because Brahman is should behave the same towards everybody. And then iti aparaf prashna. And then he says, Dvaveva va prashnau vidvat avidvat vishayau bahuvachanantu samarthya prapta prashnantara apekshaya ghatate. He says there are actually only two questions. He's honest. He says, I have made them into 4 to respect the word Bahuvachana given by the, not the word, to respect the plurality of the word Anuprashna given by the Shruti. I have stretched it to 4, but really speaking, Dvaveva, Dvaveva Prashnau, Vidvad Avidvad Vishayau. Or we can say that there are only two questions. Then he says, Bahunvachanam tu samarthya prapta prashnantara apekshaya ghatate. What is samarthya prapta prashnantara apekshaya? Says we have stretched it into 4 based on the capacity, the samarthya, the ability of the vidwan and the avidwan to get or not get Brahman. We have made that into 4. He is acknowledging that it's a little bit of a stretch. And in this stretch, some things may be lost. What the Upanishad intends may be lost. Okay, so he concludes by bringing it into 3 questions. What does he say? Asat Brahma iti Veda chet asti Brahma iti ched Veda iti Shravanat asti nasti iti samshayah. ततः अर्थप्राप्तः किम् अस्ति नास्ति इति प्रथमः अनुप्रश्नः. So he says, well, this anuprashna has come where? The anuprashna has come when we already had a long debate on Brahma asti nava. asanneva sabhavati, asad brahmeti veda chet, asti brahmeti chet veda. When that chet comes, that's a question. Because chet means what? If. Yeah. Chet means if. Avyaya, indeclinable. Chet means if. So if means it's a question, is it not? So he says we are all, so let's not pressure ourselves by stretching this like elastic. Actually, in Adi Shankara's time there was no elastic. So let's not pressure ourselves by stretching this out of existence. Okay. And so what should we do? We should just relax. The Upanishad herself is going to reveal this. And if we just look at it relaxedly without any agenda of even trying to make the Upanishad true to her words, we don't have to have the pressure of making the Upanishad true to her words. Upanishad is already true to her words. So if you relax and look, you see what was already missed. And what was missed was that the first question was already asked. First question, before whether Vidwan gets it or Avidwan gets it, who cares? If Brahman itself is not there, then the other two questions are moot. Yeah, see, supposing Brahman itself is not there, what's the point of knowing whether one gets it or doesn't get it? And who gets it? No, like some non-existent thing. Shashashringa. The horns of the rabbit are the prize for the running race. Correct? So horns of the rabbit don't exist. So if they are non-existent, then it is immaterial whether they are the prize for the running race or not. Especially if the running race is done by Vandhya Putras, by sons of children of non-existent women. Okay, mother is only not there, and then the child is there. So a child which has no mother, not that the mother gave birth and died. No, that's a different thing. So the mother of the child is a woman who can never give birth, not by surrogacy, not by adoption, not by anything. She cannot be a mother. And so such children are running a race for which the prize is a beautiful flute made of rabbit horn. So then this is exactly how it is. Who cares what the race is like and who will run, and is it a partial race or an impartial race? All this we do not care. Why? Because the prize itself is funny. The prize itself, if the prize itself is funny, then the running race itself is called into question. Okay, especially if they are running on a track of clouds. We can say that on the clouds, the track marks are made and they have to keep to their lane and run on that. So it makes no sense. So the first question which was asked was Asat Brahma Chet Veda Chet. Chet means if. If means there is a question mark. And then asti brahma ched veda iti shravanat asti nasti iti samshayah tatah artha praptah. So that is the first question. And he spells it out for us dodos. What does he say? Kim asti, kim nasti iti prathamonu prashnah. So the first question is Kim Brahma Asti, Kim Brahma Nasti. Both of them are two questions. Otherwise, we'll end up with 6 questions. So we don't want 6. We want only 3 minimum. Okay. So Kim Asti, Nasti, that is one question. And the second question is what? Brahmana apakshapatitvat vidwan avidwan gacchati nagacchati iti dvitiyah prashnah. So Brahmana Samanyat he has said. So now he is using a new word, apakshapatitvat. Pakshapatitvam means partiality. Pakshapata means you are taking one side. And what are the sides here? Will the avidwan go to Brahman or gain Brahman or not? Will the vidwan, if the avidwan does not gain and Brahman is the same, how can the vidwan gain? That is the third question. So second question is, will the avidwan gain or not? That is the second question. Dvitiya prashnaha. That is the second question. Then Brahmanaha samatve api avidushaha iva Vidushah api agamanam ashankyate, not agamanam, agamanam. So in the third question, the non-gaining of Brahman by the Vidwan is doubted. Why is it doubted? Because Avidwan obviously cannot go, but Brahman is not partial. So that means there should be no Brahman allowed. There should be a board even for the Vidwan. So then, iti tritiya prashnaha kim vidwan samashnute na samashnute na va iti. Okay. So now, how many questions have we ended up with? Huh? What many?
Three.
Three
Three questions.
questions. How many did we start out with? Two questions. And then we expanded it to four questions. And now we ended up at three questions. Let's not go back to two, okay? Because again, we'll have that Bahuvachanam problem. So we'll stop there. Not the class, just this particular discussion, okay? Now, in all this rigmarole of trying to count the question, which question, how many questions, etc., etc., in these tense moments of trying to count the question, one thing is forgotten. What is it? What has been forgotten? Hmm?
Avidya and Vidya, whether they got Brahman.
Cannot hear. The answer is forgotten. What is the answer? Now we are eager to know the answer. Does the Vidwan go or not? Does the Avidwan go or not? If the Avidwan goes, then what's the point of this study? If the Vidwan does not go, what's the point of this study? If Avidwan does not go and Vidwan does not go, then how are we going to remove Pakshapatitvam, that accusation that Brahman is partial and is only behaving certain way towards Vidwan and not to Avidwan? You see, we have a very similar thing in the Chandogya Upanishad also. That's why Bhashyakara is going to bring in the Chandogya. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the person is lying on the bed. Last days. And then what? All the Jnatayaha means relatives. Jnati, relatives. Extended family. They all come. And they all say, you know me? Janasi mom. I came last week also. You were sleeping. Do you know me? Do you know me? No, no, no. He doesn't know you. He knows me. And the other one pushes the other one aside and says, I am Narayanan's son. I'm this one's son. I'm that one's daughter. Each one is giving their their whole pravara. They're giving they're giving their antecedents. Why? In the hope of being included in the will of the dying person. Okay. And so Janasi Mam, they are troubling him. Do you know me? Do you know me? And then the answer is that that person, the dying person, will know until the mind has resolved in the heart. And then they will know. And then what? And then they will speak until the speech has resolved in the mind. They'll speak. They may still know, but then when the mind resolves into the heart, the speech has gone and the knowing also has gone. Only a thin thread of breath is there, and then the prana also resolves into Parabrahma. And then what? Then the person no longer responds. Still, maybe there is some life there, but after a while, everything goes to the what is that? Devata Trayam, the three Paradevatas. We saw that the three bhutas, the prana and all, the subtle body, the gross body goes to the gross elements, and the subtle body, along with the Atma, goes to Brahman, of who Vidwan and Avidwan, same issue we had. There it was a little more graphic, that's all. You remember? Yeah. So then, good answer. Okay. Even if you don't remember, say yes. So, to make the teacher happy. And then, so there, before one starts getting shocked, oh, Vidwan also went to Brahman. Avidwan also went to Brahman. What is this is not fair. Then what is pointed out is that Brahman is the origin of Vidwan and Avidwan. The only difference is what? Avidwan vapas aega. Will come back. Because unfinished business is there. So many desires. We, didn't have the right kind of spouse. Children did not listen to me. What other complexes are left? Whatever, all the other things. Didn't get to taste what a horse tastes like. People have various ideas. Yeah. Someone actually told me this. I just had a funny feeling. I want to taste a horse. I haven't yet tasted a horse. And they were not just horsing around, they meant it seriously. And so, like this, so I have to taste a horse and have to taste this. That's how poor dodo, there is an expression, dead as a dodo bird. The dodo bird was became extinct because poor thing, like peacock and turkey and all, it was a little bit of a slow bird, not very no, it was not known for its flight. It ran very quickly, but it wasn't used to flying that much. It would fly for short distances, get sit on a branch, come back like that. It was not much of a flyer. And so, since it was easy to catch, eaten out of existence. That's why extinct as a dodo bird. There is an expression. And so, like this, so many desires are there. I didn't get even. This person was mean to me. Next life, oh Lord, make me make me their co-worker so I can or better still their boss so I can nicely, what is that? Wring them out like one does clothes. Wring it out so nicely. I'll put them in the spin cycle. People actually think like this because right now that person is enjoying my wealth. Because of what? Adharma. Because of adharma, enjoying my wealth. And they say, oh Lord, in your world there is justice. I am not seeing any justice. I am only seeing injustice. And I want to see justice. So make me be born right there where they are. And better yet, let me be the administrator of the justice to them. Let me be reborn as their karma phala, as the fruit of their action in this life. So, like this, all these resentments are carried by who? Vidwan or Avidwan? Avidwan, thank God. Okay, so by the Avidwan, these kinds of things are carried. So then, since the baggage is there, then what? Has to come back. Has to come back because the granthi, avidya granthi, has not resolved. All these pile up of resentments comes from what? Avidya alone. Avidya is the cause. Resentment is the manifestation of avidya, as it were. So it is it's manifest resentment, manifest jealousy, manifest vengeance, wanting to eke out revenge and wanting to see them, suffer and right in front of you. All these, uh, kinds of ambitions may be there for the avidwan, and so yes, they go to Brahman, all right. But then these are all separating thoughts. I have, and they are not thoughts of oneness. There's no understanding of oneness here. There is a separate agenda. Wait till I get another life. Wait till I become another individual. And when I become an individual, I have a plan for you, and you. I have a plan. And so, because of that pressure of the plan, what happens? Rebirth takes place. Because the granthi, granthehe, vikaranam, the vikirna, it's not become vikirna, means it's not destroyed. So that avidya is a big knot. And that means the person does not get Brahman. And get Brahman means they are Brahman, but with a twist. With a what kind of a twist? An ugly twist of Jivatvam. They are more committed to Jivatvam. And so this is the Bahuvachana. So Bahuvachanantu Samarthyat. Yeah. So then he says, let us arrive at three questions. Brahmanah samatvepi avidushaha iva vidushaha api agamanam ashankyate. Maybe the vidwan also doesn't go. Kim vidwan samushnate na samushnate iti tritiyah prashnah. So then what? What is the answer? Forget the questions. We have been sitting here splitting hairs for 2 weeks thinking about the questions 2, 4, 3, etc. What is the answer? So then he gives a beautiful bhashya. Etesham, you can repeat. Prativachanartham Uttaragrantha Arabhyate. He says the whole of the next section is the answer to these three questions. The entire section. So the answer cannot be summarized. Yes, Vidwan goes. Yeah, yes, Avidwan also goes but comes back. All these things cannot be told. Why? Because the entire next section, Uttara Grantha, the rest of the next section, manuscript, is for this. Etesham prativachanartham. To address these questions, to respond. Prativachanartham means for the sake of responding for this question. When you add artham at the end, it becomes fourth case like meaning. So prativachanartham means for the sake of responding to these questions, uttara grantha arabhyate. The next section is begun. Tatra kutra, where uttara granthe, in the next section, astittvameva tavad uchyate. Hold your horses. Don't worry. In the next section, we will be talking only about existence of Brahman. We'll be talking only about the existence of Brahman. Yaccha uktam satyam jnanam anantam brahma iti tatra katham satyatvam iti etat vaktavyam iti idam uchyate. So tatra astittvameva tavad uchyate. So we are going to address the question of existence of Brahman. What is the existence? What does it look like? Etc. And how to recognize Brahman. That also, because if it is there, we should be able to recognize it. And so what are the lingas, the chinhas? What are the symbols or the what is that signs that Brahman is there? How to delineate Brahman? This is the purpose of the next question. Yacha, further. Yacha means further. Uktam, it was earlier said. What was said? Satyam Jnanam Anantam iti. Where was it said? In the Chandogya Upanishad. No, in this Upanishad itself. In this Upanishad itself. Brahmavida apnoti param, etc. etc. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Okay? And even though what is Satyam, etc., was talked about, and how do we use the word Satyam, it was talked about, we haven't talked about one thing. What is that? Katham Satyatvam iti etad vaktavyam iti idam uchyate. How is Brahman Satyam? That we have not seen. We have talked about Satyam. We have talked about Jnanam. We have talked about Anantam. But what does this Satyatvam have to do with Brahman? How is Brahma Satyam? What do we mean by Satyam? This we have not seen. Satyam means existence itself. And knowing which, the when Brahman is seen as existence itself, the idea is this: when Brahman is seen as existence itself, then the question of the non-existence of Brahman doesn't arise. Like Rahu's head, existence of Brahman you cannot say, just like you cannot say what? Head of Rahu you cannot say. So similarly, what is that? Existence of Brahman you cannot say, because existence itself is Brahman. And so that is what, when that is understood, Adi Shankara says, then the question of non-existence doesn't arise. Because when something is existence personified, then where is the non-existence? So that makes no sense to ask that. That's what he says. And then he says, Uktam hi sadeva satyam, sadeva somya, सदैव सौम्य इदमग्रे आसीत् एकमेवा द्वितीयं वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेव ध्येयं मृत्तिका इत्येव सत्यम. He quotes the whole thing. And he just says, beginning of Chandogya Upanishad Adhyaya 6, 6th chapter. So then he says, let us not forget that this is got in other Shrutis. This has got a mainstay. Here we are calling Brahman as what? Satyam. There, what is it called? Sat. Same thing. Same thing. Satyayam, in the sense of existence alone. So we saw how Sadeva Asit, this Jagat was there in the form of Sat. Before it came into a manifest form, this Jagat was there as Sat. And now what is it? Vak Arambanam, Vak Alambanam. It is in the form of that which is dependent totally upon speech. Arbitrary. Table. What is the, why is the table called table? No reason, arbitrary. But you understand, I understand, we all understand. And then even in any other language, we have the word table, we understand. If we don't speak English, we can use another language word for table, we will understand. And so why do we understand? Because it is all based on speech. Word and meaning. Everything is word and meaning. Table, word and meaning. That has a meaning. Pot, word which has a meaning. Book, word which has a meaning. Microphone, word which has a meaning. Everything is word and meaning, and it's dependent on speech. This is mithya. What is, so therefore, mrit. So just like ekena mritpindena, the thing says, the Chandogya says, by examining one lump of clay, the entire world of earthenware becomes known. This is why this chapter is quoted. The beginning of this chapter he quotes, because similarly, Satyam is like that alone. Satyam also, knowing Sabrahman as Satyam, everything is as well as known, because that Sat is everything. We'll stop here and then we'll continue when? Tomorrow? Tomorrow, yeah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Look at your friends. Can you see people? Can you see? But come closer then. So, yeah, one person at a time. Yeah, can you see? Yeah, yes. So, there are all your friends. You have to sit down. Ah, there. Okay, now your turn. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, all right. All the best. Take care. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you,
Go
Swaminiji.
have your dinner. Yeah, yeah. What we quoted? Yeah, Janasi Mam, Janasi Mam. Do you know me? Do you know me? That is the one. Yeah. Okay.